now, if there are any, with regards to what we studied today or anything else before we make Salat al-Isha bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Khairan inshallah. So we have no questions. Tayyib.
What's the way brothers and sisters can avoid reading those statements from scholars and whatnot, and aggressively trying to implement them, yourself, being mindful of the state of time there?
Question says, with regards to reading some of the statements, some of those athar of the Salaf al-Salih or scholars of the past, and then using them or implementing them aggressively without the proper context, etc., the time, the place, the atmosphere, etc. I would say first and foremost, from the things which will prevent you from falling to that vice is studying usul al-fiqh and reading the explanation of the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in abundance. Because you'll abundantly find out and you'll see that there are ayat which are interpreted, and which is difference of opinion among the scholars of Islam on what the words of Allah mean. How many times was this surah sent down? Was this ayah sent down? Who was this surah or this ayah sent down regarding? Was it this companion or that companion? The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and they say this is am, this is mutlaq, this is muqayyad, this is khas, this is mansukh, etc. So this is kitab and sunnah. There's a science of understanding them. There's a sabab nuzul, there's a sabab burud, there's a sabab ta'dith. And these are the words of the Messenger of Allah. فَمَا بَالُكَ بِي الثَّوْرِ وَفُلَانُ وَعَلَانُ. What about this one and this one, whose speech from the get-go is not a hujjah? Whose speech from the get-go doesn't possess legal authority? Who speaks, you can't say وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ about Imam Ahmed or Sufyan al-Thawri, without no disrespect to them. But Allah sent that down about what? Who? Muhammad ﷺ, no one else. Everybody understand this? So we have to understand is that the Prophet ﷺ's words are understood. The Prophet ﷺ's words are interpreted. The Prophet ﷺ's words, certain times, not all times, but certain times they have a time and a place. So that automatically excludes the whole concept of this is what Imam Ahmed or Sufyan al-Thawri says, so I'm going to run with it absolutely without no detail. Another point which will protect you from this is just look how ugly hypocrisy is and double standard, how ugly it is. Because you'll find someone, if they're an opponent of you or of anyone else, they'll use a statement. Imam Ahmed said this. Don't ever do this, don't ever say this, so on and so forth. And they'll use it absolutely. But if you use a statement of Imam Ahmed or another scholar against them, that's against their agenda or their ulterior motive, they'll say, oh, you don't understand it properly. You're taking it out of context. That's not what Sufyan al-Thawri meant. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, he didn't mean that when he said that. So let me get something straight now. You can take a statement and use it without no restrictions, but no one else can take any statements unless they have a whole list of restrictions. That's clearly what? Hypocritical. Everybody understand this? So these are some of the ways that can prevent you from doing this and just having a balanced study. And in most cases, I will say this, is the only weak people depend on stuff like this. Di'af. People have weak minds and have a low amount of knowledge. They have to resort to this one mutlaq statement and stick to it and push it and give overkill. But someone actually has ilm, who's rasin, a good amount of ilm, strongly grounded, doesn't have to stick to that one thing, nor does he ever have to abuse someone to prove a point. And the first sign of an ignorant person is abuse. Is what? Abuse. They have to verbally abuse you and they have to badger you. But if you truly have knowledge, then you have nothing to prove. And there's no need to abuse anyone. There's no need to just put someone down by beating them in the head with this one statement. And Allah Azza wa Jalla knows best. That's in brief, taban. Wallahu alam. Naam, fadl.
For a book like this and different books authored for specific sciences, to what extent can it be applicable to other sciences? Like for obviously the Nazir and the Ali, specific hadith, but even the muta'abbid, being careful to take them from, for example, like if you were taking Quran from muta'abbid.
Clear. There's no doubt that many things are specific to disciplism, the way of hadith, and there are other things which are general. You have to understand that when we talk about the etiquettes of a student of hadith, most of those etiquettes, not all of them, but most of them are nothing more than the etiquettes of a normal student of knowledge. And the etiquettes of a normal student of knowledge in most cases are nothing more than etiquettes of a Muslim. Every Muslim is supposed to be sincere. Every Muslim is supposed to be this. Every Muslim is supposed to have that. But the student of knowledge is supposed to be the cream of the crop. He's supposed to be the best of the best. And the best of the best of the best, the most elite, is supposed to be the student of hadith. He's supposed to be the elite of the elite. Huh? So therefore, there are certain things which are heightened and amplified more in hadith science, and it's more dangerous, it's more important. And as we said before, and there's no disrespect to any other science or field, but there is a great deal of room for all types of mistakes and errors to enter, and not like hadith. And the proof of that is look at history. You look at the scholars of fiqh, of usul, of lugha al-arabiya, look how many innovations entered into those sciences, and how many people of innovation and innovators entered into those sciences. And as we said earlier, hadith was what? Was held out. It only came in the 7th, 8th century. For all those years, it was totally what? Kept out. Just look at the 4 madhabs. Look at the people who attribute themselves to the 4 imams. I'm Hanafi, I'm Shafi'i, I'm Maliki, I'm Hanbali. Of course, there are people that are fanatical in all madhabs. People that are upon innovation and this and that in all madhabs. But the percentage of people that are Hanbali and that are upon some wild and crazy bid'ah is nothing like the people who say they're Hanafi or Maliki. Abadan, no comparison, let alone the amount of time. Things just started happening to the Hanbali madhab. But for years, whenever they went to call someone that was upon the way of Athar or the way of the pious predecessors, they would say Hanbali. And that's because Imam Ahmed was so strict on hadith and sunnah. So that his rigid adherence to the sunnah, it prevented a lot of things from creeping into his madhab. Everybody understand this? So when we talk about usul, we talk about fiqh, we talk about qira'ah, the door is far more, it's wider for all types of things to creep in than hadith. So the hadith culture is always going to be what? Tighter and stricter. So their adab are going to be more finely tuned and more stringent. Wallahu alam. That's in brief. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد. Thank you very much. Inshallah tomorrow. بإذن الله.